y'all want me to do like an opening statement, or do y'all want to just shoot some questions? How do y'all want to do this?
First of all, just tell us what you know happened back in 2012.
All right, well, y'all want me to, tell me when to start.
Start. And start with your name and spell.
My name is Chad Pinkerton, ChadPinkerton. I represent Bree Williams, BRIEANN Williams, spelled as you'd expect. My client has brought a case against the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and Los Vaqueros, a member of the group that do the trail rides, for sexual assault and rape that occurred in December of 2012. My client was at an event where Los Vaqueros sponsored the event, where the rodeo sponsored the event. Minors were drinking outside. It was a drunk fest essentially for the members of the Trail Ride Association. She was put in her car by her boyfriend at the time. Two men then assaulted her and sexually assaulted her, raped her, following by that a sodomization of her. She's bringing claims now for those injuries and for the acts of the people that perpetrated it, for the negligence of the rodeo and the negligence of Los Vaqueros.
Now, tell us why 5 years later? Why not immediately after you guys file a lawsuit?
Good question. I've had this several times today. Why now? Because it's the right thing to do. My client was injured and harmed. She was raped. The state of Texas has issued statutes that say people like this can wait a period of time, 5 years. Why? Because it's very harmful. It takes a lot of courage to do what my client is doing right now. She is not hiding behind a camera. Her face is not blurred. You do have her name. She was coming forward because she has courage, and she should be applauded for that courage, not questioned.
The status of the suspects in this case, all convicted, all behind bars. You're concerned about one lesser charge. Tell me about that.
Well, I don't think that I'm concerned anymore about either one of them. One of them pled out. One of them went to trial. The one that went to trial, Mr. Prine, he got 20 years for raping my client and sodomizing her. The other defendant, Mr. Ramirez, he got 2 years on a plea deal. He is out of jail. His father is the trail boss, still the trail boss. His father has made the decision to allow his son, who was convicted of a sexual crime, to continue to be on the trail ride, to continue to enjoy the benefits of being a part of this association, continue to be around drinking, continue to be around women within this association. That is wrong. I mean, that's salt in the wound. My client is in fear that this may happen to other folks. This gentleman that did this to my client, that pled guilty to a sexual crime, is still at these associations, on these trail rides, drinking around women.
Describe the kind of sponsorship that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo had at this event. You said they sponsored it, so how are they held liable here?
So the way the law looks at it is if you have a sponsored event, or if you have a sanctioned event, like the rodeo does in many parts of the community throughout the year leading up to the rodeo, you can be held liable under the law for not supervising, for failing to make a premises and an event safe. The same claim that goes for Los Vaqueros goes for the rodeo. Now, Los Vaqueros may have more responsibility because this wasn't not one, but two of their actual members that were involved in a rape of a 19-year-old girl at a sanctioned event. Now, people are going to say, well, what does the rodeo have to do with it? Well, the rodeo gets great benefit from this community. The rodeo puts on events to advertise what they're doing. When they do that, they come into our community, and what they should do at a minimum is make their parties and their events safe. They didn't make it safe. They know they didn't make it safe. They should be held responsible.
And this is sanctioned or sponsored?
I don't think the law does a different interpretation of it. There is a book this thick that talks about these events related to these trail rides. And all of those trail ride events are sanctioned and sponsored by the rodeo. Now, you may be thinking, well, sanction may be saying, we agree that you can have them. Sponsors may be, we're going to pay for it. I'm in discovery right now. I have just filed a lawsuit. I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you this, the law doesn't care. The law is going to hold you responsible if you had a benefit from that event, which the rodeo clearly does. Everybody knows about the trail rides. We see it. What does that do? It draws attention to the rodeo. What does that do? It gets people out to the rodeo. What does that do? We bring our friends and family members there, and we spend money and time there. It's a great thing for the community. Number one rule, though, make it safe. This lady was raped by two men at 19 years old. They didn't make it safe. There's no question about that.
Prine, can we hear from you on why you decided to come forward, show your face, and just say, I want my justice? For the 1 second, I'm going to move the microphones before you start.
Let's do that. Can I do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
Y'all usually don't need a microphone from me. I'm pretty loud. Judges say that to all the time. Judge, step back. Chad, step back. All right, there you go.
Why did you decide to come forward and show your identity? Typically, victims don't show their identities whatsoever, but you're doing that today.
From what I found out is not a lot of, there's some rape victims that do not come forward because of all the, there are negative people out there and all the comments and all the being scared and everything like that. And whenever I found out that he was still participating in the events, I don't agree with that. And that's putting all the women who go to that event to be a potential victim. How could I, as a woman who has been raped by that man, be okay and allow him to continue going to that event that he raped me at? And me as a woman, I'm not okay with other women being put in that same predicament that I was put at. It doesn't, and that's why I decided to come forward, because they need to take responsibility for that. He shouldn't be allowed to be there.
Are there still nightmares? Is it still tough to remember that day back in 2012 for you?
What do you mean?
Just how much of a black cloud is it over your head thinking about what happened back to you in 2012?
It affects me every day. Having to be alone, it's terrifying. Anytime I'm alone, anytime I get off work and it's late at night and I have to walk to my car, anytime going to the store, looking around at all the faces, hoping I don't see the man that raped me, hoping, just, it's really tough. And no, I lost a lot of self-worth. I thought I was nothing more than what they did to me, and it's taken a long time for me to get my self-worth back and remember that I'm a woman and that I'm worth more than what they used me for. And it's a constant struggle reminding myself that I'm a woman and I'm worth more, and that I deserve a better life than to live in constant fear, and to pray to God every day that nothing bad happens to me. Pray to God that I can protect my daughter, make sure nothing bad happens to her. I shouldn't have to live in fear, and that's not right. Nobody should.
I don't want to monopolize, guys. You can jump in.
Can you describe how they approached to you back in 2012? How was the interaction with you? How did they talk to you or approach to you? How or the circumstances around the situation?
Are you referring to at the incident at the trail ride? I don't remember ever talking to them at all. I was there with my boyfriend and his family, and he put me in his brother's truck, and then I woke up to him on top of me, and I thought it was my boyfriend, and then he started talking to me, and I realized that that was not my boyfriend, and I started calling for him, and then I blacked out, and I wake up to my boyfriend and cops and the ambulance, and that's what
So they left the scene, and that was just your boyfriend and cops. There was nobody else.
Prine got caught in the truck, and he left the scene. The cops found him down the road. He jumped in his truck and took off, and then the cops found him down the road.
Do you think there was somebody that knew about these two guys committing this type of crimes or doing these things to women, like approaching to ladies or taking advantage of ladies when they were drunk or there just to have fun?
I don't know.
Mom and Dad, are you able to say anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to the right, if you don't mind.
Why don't we just change seats?
Okay, that'll work.
Mom, you sit here?
Will that work for you, Dad?
Is that okay, guys?
And if you can start with your full name and your full name and spell.
Deanna Williams, DeannaWilliams.
When you realize what happened to your daughter that night, what is that like for a mom? Knowing, there were so many adults around and your child was victimized and taken advantage of.
Well, as a parent, you want to protect your children from something like this. Sorry. If you keep them in your house, don't let them out, you can try to prevent something like this from happening. But it was tragic. She lives with it every day. It's hard. It's hard for everybody, for her sisters. It's hard for our family. And she's strong for doing something like this, going out. And all I can do is stand by her side. I can't take the hurt away. I wished I could, but I can't. So I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that I stand by her side and make sure that no one else is going to be a victim of something like this.
Were you ever concerned about her coming forward today, revealing her identity, because you know how society can be?
Oh, yeah, I've read quite a few comments. Yes, I talked to her. I told her that, I wanted her to be blurred out. I didn't want all those negative comments to come out and see this and hurt her even more. But I told her that no matter what, I will stand by her side in any decision that she makes. And she told me that she wanted to show her face to make sure that it's okay to come out. It's okay to speak and say what happened to you and be strong. So I'm proud of her. I'm very proud of her. It takes a lot of courage to get up and do what she's done.
Start with your name and spelling.
Frank Williams, FrankWilliams.
Same question came to your wife when you realized what had happened to your daughter. Your daughter.
Well, I was out of town working whenever I got a phone call from Indiana, and it was really tough. She called me and told me she was at the hospital with my daughter, that she had just been sexually assaulted by two guys, and being out of town working, it was really tough because there was nothing I could do, and it was like being trapped. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything to protect my daughter. And so it was really difficult, really hard. And I couldn't even talk to her at the time because she was in the hospital. And so it was difficult. to deal with something like this.
And her coming forward today, your thoughts?
We spoke about this before all it started, and she has a lot of courage to be able to stand up and come out and say that and deal with all the rude comments that is now being made, and she she's just really a strong girl. She's always been strong, and she I don't know, she's
Where are the rude comments coming from? Because we're just now doing a press conference, right? So,
right.
so has there been something else?
Right. The news from last night,
Okay.
and of course people are going to say what they want to say. It's well, her main goal and main focus is to make sure this doesn't happen to some other girl on the trail ride.
What do you want to tell the people that are making these horrible comments? What do you want to tell them? What is your message for them?
Learn the whole story before you make comments. There's a lot more to the story, and there's a lot more to this case than what they know.
Yeah, I read to the end. Do you indicate in your lawsuit what you're seeking in damages, or are you leaving that up to the jury? Why?
As a lawyer representing plaintiffs, I've always believed in the jury system. Sometimes in lawsuits like this, we're required to disclose, as a matter of law, what we're seeking. I typically don't like to do that because that's the 12 people in the box. That's the decision that they get to make, and I don't like to invade that decision. But let me tell you this, all the money that they have, that's what I want.
Do you feel like those trail rides are still unsafe?
You know, I'm not sitting here in judgment of all the trail rides. I'm not going to sit here and say all the trail rides are dangerous. I'm not going to say that the trail rides are a bad thing, because I do see the benefit. I will say this. Los Vaqueros has a reputation of being dangerous, has a reputation of drunkenness, and we know for a fact Mr. Prine, who was a member of this group, had sexually assaulted or had sex with a minor, a babysitter, and impregnated her before this event, and the members knew about it. They should have started right then and said, Mr. Prine, you're not welcome. You can't be here because you are a danger not only to us and our members, but to visitors. And if you look at their program, they say in this case, we don't have a duty. They're trying to escape liability, paying money, by saying we don't have a duty. The truth is you don't have to look any further than their document. In their own document, it says the trail bodies has the duty to make safe for all trail riders, all members, and also all visitors. My client was a visitor. Anything else, folks? Anybody else? I want to make one more comment before we leave. Anything else? You want me to move this in front of me? You probably don't want to use this. Y'all don't ever use me. I talk all the time and nobody ever hears me. Maybe I should talk less and I get played more. My last comment will be this. To those people out there that are making negative comments about my client, you should be ashamed. My client has great courage. She should be treated as a hero. She's stepping forward not only for herself, but all other victims. And the people that are saying those things, they don't have a daughter. Because if you had a daughter, you would never say those things. Ever. But guess what? My client is still standing strong. Those comments won't affect her. She will have her day in court, and justice will be served. And Mom and Dad will be standing with her, and so will I. Are we excused? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm always appreciative of the media. You got a fantastic job.